Hello, welcome to Sharing Community, your own channel, your own community. Please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Thank you.
Hello everybody, this is Alexandra Nigueta, a member of Sharing Community. You can also find me on www.theblindsoapmaker.co.uk. Hello everybody and welcome to my video on making falafel. Now I do have sighted support with me. Normally I would use the Be My Eyes app. If you don't know what that is, feel free to look it up, but welcome to my video on making falafel. Here is the first of our ingredients, 250 grams of dried chickpeas that have been soaked for 24 hours. These are the seasonings you will be using. First off, there is pepper, salt, baking powder, ground coriander, ground cumin, and mild chili powder. Here are the fresh ingredients you'll be using. Flat leaf parsley, fresh, some garlic in their cloves, and 1 onion. So let's ready, steady, cook, guys. When you're sorting out your fresh leaf parsley, you take a look at each strand of parsley that you've got. And then what you're looking for are some of the more thick, not so tasty, thicker stalks of your parsley. You're then cutting that off and you're putting your parsley into the food mixer. There we go. So we're now just going to blitz this. I'm going to put it on a pulse setting because it usually works better when it's on a pulse setting. Because what happens as you pulse it is that things kind of fly up from the bottom to the top better, and it has time for the leaves at the top to fall downwards into the blades. Stop that. So what we do now is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the lid to my mixer, and I'm just going to show you what it looks like. If you can just picture that there. Smells delicious, by the way. And then I'm just going to spoon it out into this small bowl here in the hopes, well, not hopes, because I'm going to be using it later on. I'm draining off my chickpeas that have been soaking for 24 hours. Now I always get nervous about this because being blind I'm not sure whether I'm pouring it into the colander or not. But what I tend to do is I slide it a little way off the side into my sink and I put my colander in the middle of the sink and I touch my colander first, then my pan. And that way I know where the colander is and where I need to get my pan to. So now I am going to pour in my chickpeas into my mixer. In order to make sure that I'm at the mixer and I don't get it all over the place, I tend to use my hands, I'm just going to be honest. And I put my arm over my mixing bowl or whatever bowl I'm trying to pour things into, so that I have a measurement of how far away the bowl is in comparison to my hands. There we go. So now I'm going to take my baking powder and I'm going to put half a teaspoon in. Now for those of us who are blind, what you need to do is to get your teaspoon in, push it against the side, and don't be afraid to feel how much you have in your teaspoon. I think that's about half. Mum, what do you think?
I think that's spot on, Alex.
Brilliant. Now we want 1.5 of of my cumin and my coriander. So put your spoon in, get it flat against the top, and then you've got one whole one, and then we want half one. So do the same thing, put your finger in it, don't be afraid to push some of it off, and there's a half. Then I put them in. Here we go. Smell absolutely brilliant, by the way, guys. There we go. Right, what do you think of that one, Mum?
That's fine.
Brilliant, there we go. That's one. I'm going to do a half now, because I find halves just a little bit difficult. How about that, Mum?
Great. It's not an exact science.
Not an exact science as cooking, but you know, you get to know what you like. And now, half chilli. You do not want to do. It's too spicy unless you like that flavour. Okay, guys? Again, I'm doing the same thing as I've done with the others. Put it to the side. I think that's about half. Pop it all in. And I'm now doing the same with my salt and pepper, going all the way around the mixing bowl in order to get it all in. Now, I just want to mention, guys, whilst I grab my pepper and put my pepper in, I just want to mention the fact that when I took the parsley out, I didn't wash it all out. And the reason why I didn't wash it all out is because it'll be going in anyway at the end, just to give it that extra bit of flavour in. So it will always be taking on the flavouring that you've done, especially when it's this particular dish, falafel. There we go. Now I'm going to cut up my onion so that it's in smallish pieces, but not too small, because obviously it's going into a food processor. So it will be processed, it will be cut up and smashed in with absolutely everything else we have put into the mix. When cutting up an onion, I tend to make the sides of the onion flat, so I cut the end bits off first. Then I cut it in half so that they're nice and flat for when I cut them up. And I can quite easily peel off the skins of the onion by feel, in theory. Here we go, there we go, I finally got it. Right, now the next bit, because there's nothing worse than getting bits of onion skin in your meal, or at least according to my dad, there isn't. So once I've done this, I do tend to put my hands around the honestly, my hands around the chopping board to make sure that I don't have any bits of skin left. And then I feel my onions a bit more to make sure that there aren't any grotty bits in. And here we go. Practice makes perfect at the end of the day. So here is our more or less finished product, and all I do is I then put it into my food processor. I'm just making sure that all the pieces are kind of individualised by pulling them apart and making sure that I've properly cut them enough so that they will get smashed up with all the other yummy flavourings. And then we're going to move on to our garlic, I think. Life hack for you guys. Take your garlic cloves, find yourself a Heinz beans tin or a tin with a flat edge, okay? and just hit your garlic cloves really hard with the tin, and you'll find that the skins will be peel-offable afterwards. That is not a joke, that is just a fact, and it works a treat. And all I do is I put in my garlic in whole. So now that we have all of our ingredients sorted and in, I am now going to blitz it. I'm going to do a little pulse sensation again to get bottom to the top and the whole thing into a really nice fine powder. Right now, I've taken off the lid of my food processor, because if any of you can see really well, you'll be able to see that there are really big lumps at the top. And what we want to do with those big lumps is get them right to the bottom. And sometimes they just stick to the side, because this is a really lovely, moist and sticky mixture ready for frying. So when you think that you have managed to get it into a lovely, fine consistency, what you need to do is check your consistency. So I'm going to just put my hand in now, and I'm going to collect some in my palms. And if I can make a really good ball that sticks together on a flat palm, that is what we're wanting in terms of consistency. And then what we're going to do is we're going to flatten them out, and we're going to cook them. Hello guys, if you're wondering why I'm dressed differently today, it is because I made this up deliberately yesterday in order to have it for today's lunch, and that is because I have been quite busy this morning. So what we're going to do is we're going to add this parsley into the mix. I'm just going to use my fingers to make sure that I get absolutely every bit of parsley, and then I'm going to mix it all up with the spoon. Just adds an extra bit of texture. And it smells absolutely delicious still. So I'm now going to take that spoon out and put it there in the bowl. And then I'm going to take a little lump, I'm going to make a circle with it. A little sphere, sorry, and then I'm going to pat it out into a circle, and then I'm going to put it out onto this piece of baking paper. So as you can see, I have lots of pâtés here, and they're all different sizes, but the key main factor is that they all have to be the same thickness, because if they're the same thickness, they'll cook at the same rate. Now the recipe itself says that they should be deep fat fried, but here at my mum's we don't have a deep fat fryer, so we're just going to fry them in a shallow pan over here, okay? So I'm going to put my falafel into a tortilla today. So I've got my soft flour tortilla, and I'm just grabbing a hold of my mayo and finding the middle of my tortilla, and I'm just going to squidge that on and hope for the best, because that's what you do when you're blind. Another good way of doing it is to get a spoon and then you slather it all over. And then I'm going to just get some salad into my hand and put some salad on. And I have two different types of salad to have with my tortillas. Now I'm going to take some bistro salad. But you know, get creative with this aspect. So there we go, I've got my salad, and that's ready for my falafel to go on top of in order to make my falafel wraps today, okay? So as you can see, we are now cooking the falafel. You only need a couple of minutes for this, and for those of you who can see, they will go a lovely golden brown.